Greenfield here. I'm just hanging around and waiting for Transylvania Tonight with Countess Carita and my master Drac to start. Take off your shoes and socks and dig your toenails into whatever's over your head. I don't know the name of the movie right off the bat, but join me and we can just wing it. I've heard that hanging upside down like this can put a lot of pressure on your brain, making you lightheaded and dizzy. But I didn't notice any difference. In fact, if anything, I feel better.
I'm Countess Carita, and welcome to Transylvania Tonight. We have a good movie for you tonight, even though it is a bit offensive. The Bat. The Bat, the Devil Bat, the Vampire Bat. Bats get a bad reputation in the movies, and tonight's is the worst of the bunch because it's about a serial killer who calls himself the Bat. Some of our favorite people are part Bat, like my deadest Drac. So, to tell you more about tonight's movie is that ultra-cuddler king of the vampires, my deadest Drac.
Aw, thanks, honey bat. See, some of my favorite people are half bat too. Which reminds me, you've never actually seen me as a bat, have you? Well, you know what? Let's rectify that. We'll do it right now. And I promise you, it's going to be more successful than when I turned into a wolf, because I turn into a bat just about every night, okay? So, are you ready? All right. Stand back. Shabat!
There. Look how graceful I am. The only thing I have to watch out for when I'm a bat is fleas. And telephone wires. Trust me, you fly full speed into a telephone wire, and you only do it once, because you don't forget it. Now let's start the show.
Not even close to being live from the Borgo Pass, it's Transylvania Tonight with your hosts, that award-winning king of the vampires, Drac, and Countess Carita, the darling of the undead. Join Drac and Carita for tonight's feature film, Vincent Price starring in The Bat.
I'm Drac. She's Countess Carita. And welcome to Transylvania Tonight.
Drac, stop showing off.
Showing off?
Yes, come back down to earth.
Oh, okay. Shabbat!
You really shouldn't turn into a bat and fly on the show, Dennis.
Well, why not? It adds production value.
Well, that may be so, but do you know that thousands of children are hurt every year because they put on capes and try to jump off of roofs and porches thinking they can fly?
You're telling me that thousands of children get hurt every year because they're trying to fly like Drac?
No, Superman. But do you really want any children getting hurt trying to act like you?
Well, no.
So, don't try this at home, kids. We have a good movie for you tonight, even though the title is offensive, called The Bat.
It stars Vincent Price and Agnes Moorehead. Now, Moorehead was a member of Orson Welles' Mercury Theater, but most of you are going to recognize her as Samantha's mother on Bewitched.
It's a mystery, so let's go on and start the movie and see if you can figure it out.
Figure it out. Duh, Vincent Price is in it. I mean, he's got to be the killer, right? Why else would a filmmaker hire Vincent Price to be in the movie if he wasn't going to be the bad guy? But before we get started, I want to reiterate what Carita said. Kids, don't try to fly like Drac. Yeah. But you know, being a bat does have its advantages.
Such as?
Well, like when we go to the movies. You know, I can turn into a bat, I crawl into Carita's purse, and that way we both get into the show for the price of one ticket.
That's a trick he picked up from that cheapskate Drac Benny. Start the movie.
The Oaks, a house in the country which I rented for the summer. As an author, I write tales of mystery and murder. But the things that happened in this house were far more fantastic than any story I've ever had published. I brought a staff of servants from my city apartment, and my maid Lizzie Allen, who had been with me nearly 20 years. Lizzie?
Yes, Miss Cornelia.
Is the car ready?
It's at the door. Look, Miss Cornelia, them servants you brought from the apartment are talking about walking out on us.
Really? Well, I know they don't like it here, but I didn't think it was that bad.
Well, they've been hearing things about the killer that the police call the Bat and the murders that he committed here this past winter. Now people are saying that he's back again.
Well, how can they be sure of that? Has he committed another crime?
No, not yet, but that ain't saying that he won't. Here's something else. You've heard about the bats they have here. Animal bats, the kind that fly.
Yes, yes.
Look what it says in this magazine. This is a report from the State Health Department, and it says some of them bats is rabid.
Well.
And that ain't all. Now there's a rumor going around that it was the bat himself, the killer, I mean, that released the rabid bats in this neighborhood.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
Well, the housekeeper, the cook, the butler, and the upstairs maid don't think so.
Well, I can't help what they think. If hysterical nonsense like that can scare them out of their good jobs, it's their loss, not mine. Come on, Lizzie, I've got to get to the bank. Drive directly to Zenith Bank, Warner. I'm afraid we'll have to hurry. It's near closing time.
I'll get you there, Miss Van Gorder.
Thanks again.
Miss Van Gorder.
How do you do, Mr. Berry?
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. You remember Lizzie Allen?
Of course. Hello, Miss
How
Allen.
do you do?
So you're spending the summer with us again?
Yes, yes. I've leased the Oaks, the home of your bank president, John Fleming.
I heard you had. I was surprised.
Why? Is there something the matter with it?
No. I was surprised because Mr. Fleming said he would never rent it.
Oh? Well, I rented it from his nephew, Mark Fleming, who has the real estate office here. He said his uncle would be gone the entire summer.
That's right. Mr. Fleming's in the North Woods now with his physician, Dr. Wells. Oh, pardon me. Dale, I want you to meet my wife. We were married at Christmas time.
That must have been nice.
Believe me, it was. Oh, here she is.
Oh, dear.
My
How do
wife,
you
Miss
do?
Van Gorder, Miss Allen.
How do you do, Mrs.
How do you do? Cornelia Van Gorder.
Yes.
Oh, well, I've read every murder mystery you've ever written. I just adored that weird one, the private morgue of Dr. X. Even though it gave me the shivers.
Only the shivers? Scared hell out of me.
Oh.
Well, I really mean that Miss Corney killed them off in that one.
When you refer to my books, please don't call me Miss Corney.
Pardon me, Mr. Bailey. Mr. Hines is here to see you.
Oh, yes. Excuse me, please. Don't be strangers now.
No, no,
I
we
should
won't.
say not.
Oh, so you're a bride.
Well, not quite.
Not since Christmas.
You know, I'm sure I've seen you.
Well, I used to be my husband's secretary here in the bank.
Of course I remember.
May I welcome our most distinguished visitor back to Zenith?
Oh, that's very charming, but,
Lieutenant Anderson.
Lieutenant Anderson, of course. Chief of Detectives of the Zenith Police Department. This is Miss Allen.
Miss Allen.
How do you do?
Lieutenant Anderson is one of our favorite citizens. He's on the bank's board of directors.
Not bad for a policeman.
You must have made a good thing of it.
Well, I saved my money, if that's what you mean.
It's near closing time, and I've got some business in the safe deposit vault. Please come and see me, Mrs. Bailey.
Oh, I'd love to.
And you, Lieutenant.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Nice to meet you. My, what a charming woman. She moved into the Oaks just the other day.
That house is a proper setting for a writer of mysteries.
Oh, it certainly is. Vic, what's the matter?
Come in here, both of you. Andy, we're in trouble. Wendell Hines came in to pick up $350,000 worth of bonds that we were holding as collateral for a loan. They were kept in our special vault. Mr. Fleming and I are the only officers of the bank who have access to that vault.
So?
The Hines bonds are gone. That's not all. Other negotiable securities are missing. From what I can gather, short of a careful check, the bank has been looted of over $1 million worth of securities.
You'll have to notify Fleming.
I wish I could talk to him. Unfortunately, he and Dr. Wells are deep in the woods. They can't be reached by phone. What is it?
I thought I heard someone on the path coming from the lake. Had an idea it might be that guide of ours.
Oh, Sam won't show up until morning. It's a 20-mile canoe trip from here to civilization.
5 will get you 10. Sam has a message for me.
I thought you told him at the bank not to bother you.
I did, but they'll bother me. Doctor.
Yes, John.
What would you do for $500,000?
Anything short of murder.
Why not murder?
Too messy.
Too great a risk?
For $500,000? Yes.
I pinched $1 million from the bank. Well, I'm not kidding. I embezzled it.
Not that I think you wouldn't do it if you thought you could get away with it.
I got away with it. I'm not talking about currency. I took negotiable securities that could be converted into cash. I have the cash. In 10s, 20s, and 100s.
Well, I'm your doctor, not your lawyer. Why tell me this?
You'll find out why.
Who's going to take the blame for the robbery?
Bailey, the cashier. They'll never suspect me.
I like Bailey.
Well, so do I. I love the guy. I gave him his first chance.
He has a lovely little wife.
Charming girl. Was the best man.
Where's the $1 million?
In my family's tomb in Zenith. In the crypt with my father's casket.
I don't buy that, John.
No?
No. You forget that I had you in charge when you were a very sick man. When you raved in delirium. And I heard you talk about a hidden room. Now, where else could you put a hidden room except in that mansion you built? That white elephant you call the Oaks.
Look, everyone knows I have a bad heart. Now, who would doubt it if you wired the bank directors that my heart had failed? That I had fallen from a great height here in the woods. and that I was badly smashed up. You could ship the body back for burial and instruct them not to open the casket due to the condition of its contents.
Well, you realize, of course, that we'd have to have a body to put in that casket, which means that we'd have to deal with an undertaker at this end.
Of course.
Well, where do we get a body?
Couldn't we provide one of our own? How about Sam?
Sam, our guide?
Sam weighs about as much as I do. He's practically a hermit. He wouldn't be missed for a long time.
The local undertaker would know him.
Not if we made him look as if he'd been in a serious accident.
But if Bailey's going to take the blame, why'd he have to do this?
A jury might acquit him. In that case, I'd be a logical suspect. I could disappear, of course, but it's safer if they think I'm dead.
What if I don't go for this deal?
In that case, it would be too bad.
You mean you'd kill me?
What else could I do? Now that I've told you about the $1 million, I'd say you were shot in a hunting accident. Now, look, Doctor, if you can find another body instead of Sam's, it's all right with me. There's $500,000 in it for you.
I'll do my best.
I smell smoke.
So do I. What's that noise?
Look, Doctor, the woods are on fire. It's coming this way. We've got to get out of here. Out the back way.
We will. As soon as I provide that body we were talking about.
Yes, Miss Cornelia. There's a storm coming up, and it's gonna be a snorter. The wind nearly blew the door off its hinges.
Well, that noise blew my game higher than a kite. I think I've lost some of the cars.
Oh, I'll get them for you.
Oh, I see you found the paper.
Drat that paper boy, scooting by on his bicycle, just chucked it into a clump of bushes and let it go at that. For land's sake, Mr. Vic Bailey's been arrested.
Oh?
I think.
Victor Bailey, vice president and cashier of the Zenith Bank, was arraigned before United States Commissioner Alvin Fielding, charged with the embezzlement of over $1 million. I can't believe Vic Bailey had anything to do with that robbery. Oh, well, I see our landlord is home again.
Landlord?
Mr. Fleming. Dr. Malcolm Wells is back in town with the body of John Fleming, president of the Zenith Bank, who was killed in a forest fire. Mr. Fleming will be laid to rest in his family's tomb on Friday.
And I hope he stays there.
Well, why shouldn't he?
Well, this is his house. And ever since he died, some funny things have happened here.
For instance?
The housekeeper, the cook, and the butler said that they heard strange noises at night. And the upstairs maid swore that she met a man without a face coming up the back stairs.
Oh, so that's why they quit and left me to run this place without a staff.
They didn't tell you, Miss Corney, but the truth is they were scared to stay.
But you're still here, Lizzie. Haven't you seen anything?
No. No, and even if I had, I ain't afraid of ghosts. They're afraid of me. Honest, Miss Corney, a spiritualist told me once that ghosts was allergic to me. But this Bat feller they keep talking about in the paper, I guess he'd be different.
No, I don't think you'd have the same effect on him.
Oh, dear. What are they trying to do? Drive people away from this part of the country?
Why, what does it say about the Bat?
Specialty seems to be killing women. My goodness, 2 of them in one night. All his victims died the same way, like their throats had been ripped open with steel claws.
That's a charming little caper. I'll have to try it sometime. In a book.
That ain't nothing, just something bumping against the house. That's just the wind banging a door. Pay no attention to it. Listen to this. One of his victims, who lived for a moment after she was found, described the bat as a man without a face. Honest, Miss Corney, I think that woman must have been exaggerating. That's just that heavy tapestry at the top of the stairs.
I know. I've heard it before on a windy night. That sounds as if there was someone on the stairs. I know there isn't. At least there shouldn't be.
There ain't. Them's just the noises you hear in any old house on a windy night. It says here that the bat never leaves no fingerprints.
That's understandable. Having no face, he probably has no fingers either. Lizzie! And that, I suppose, is the cat dropping its dentures.
No, I don't think so. But I think it's something should be looked into. Now, who chucked him down here?
The wind, I hope. There must be a window open up there. No, Lizzie. Let him lay. Let him sleep it off. I hope the power lines don't go down, put the lights out. Now, we'll check the windows in the living room and draw the curtains, and then we'll go to bed.
Yes, ma'am. I won't be a minute.
Carty! Oh! What's that?
Oh, when I went to get the paper, I turned the latch off. I forgot to turn it on again. He's out there. He was coming in. He might have got you.
Oh, but he didn't, and he's still out there, thanks to you. Now, you hurry now, and we'll call the police.
No, I won't leave you, Miss Coney.
Are you okay?
Yes, ma'am, I'm okay.
Okay.
Hey, Jack Torrance here, manager of the beautiful Overlook Hotel. I've been here since 1980. I worked my way up from the boiler room to the ballroom, and I just love the place. And I'm sure you're gonna love it too, which is why I wanted to check in with you and ask, have you made your reservations to come and visit us here at the Overlook? And if not, why? Why haven't you called yet? Pick up the phone and call, because if you don't, I know where you are. I'll grab an axe and I'll come to your house and I'll beat down the door. And then I'll take a sledgehammer and I'll smash your skull into a pulp. And then I'll drag your lifeless body back here to the Overlook, where there's always a free continental breakfast. So don't waste any more time. Pick up the phone and call us. Come and see us here at the Overlook Hotel, and we'll turn your lights out for you.
It's time for the portion of the show called What is Drac Thinking? What's on your mind, Drac?
Huh?
What are you thinking?
Oh, well, I'm still thinking about this movie we're showing tonight. The Bat. And who is the serial killer called the Bat? And the filmmakers, they hired Vincent Price to be in the movie. How stupid do they think we are? Don't answer that. The killer has to be Vincent Price. I mean, when this movie was made, Vincent Price was the #1 horror star in the world. So why would you hire Vincent Price to be in the movie if he wasn't the killer, right? So, that's what I'm thinking.
Thank you, Drac.
Huh?
Thanks.
Oh, sure.
That's all the time we have for What is Drac Thinking? Let's get back to the Bat.
Operator? Give me the police department, please.
Zenith Police Department.
This is Cornelia Van Gorder. I'm living at the Oaks.
We know about that, Miss Van Gorder.
Just a moment ago, a man tried to force his way into this house.
You're not alone there, are you? What about your servants?
Well, I have none except my chauffeur, and he's away. He won't be back until the morning. Now, there's only 2 of us here tonight, and we're going to lock ourselves in my room. Now, if any of your men see anything, will you have them call me?
I'll send officers over there right away.
Well, thank you very much. Come on, Lizzie. We're going to sleep in my room. Well, nothing can get at us in this room now, I think. This door seems good and solid.
Like the door to a tomb.
I think that couch will be comfortable. There's some extra bedding,
Yes,
closet. Let's see now.
Huh? No bolt. Well, that's not so good. What's that for?
That, my good woman, is a booby trap. If anybody tries to open this transom, this will be knocked off, and we'll hear it fall.
Fiddlesticks. I forgot my night things, my robe, my gown, and my slippers. I'll go get 'em now.
Now, wait a minute, Lizzie.
I'll go with you. Now, don't you bother, Miss Cornelia. My room's just down the hall.
Lizzie, I told you to wait.
It's all right. I'll only be a second. Get in here. Get in here.
Yes?
Miss Van Gorder?
Yes?
Zenith Police Department. There's a police car just outside your house, and the officers in it have reported that there's no sign of a prowler anywhere on the grounds.
Well, the man's inside now. He's in the hall, just outside my bedroom. Have your men break through the kitchen door and search this place from top to bottom.
Okay, Miss Van Gorder. Sit tight.
I will. I have a gun, and I know how to use it. Relax, Lizzie. The police did a good job. They couldn't find anybody in here.
But we both saw him, Miss Cornelia.
All right, so he got away. But there are men on guard outside, so just try and get some rest. There's nothing can get at us here. You've had a nightmare.
Maybe I did. But there was a bat and it bit me. And it flew in that closet.
Oh, good gracious, Lizzie, you're right. Oh. Operator, will you get me Dr. Malcolm Wells' office, please? No, I don't know his number, and I have no phone book up here, but this is an emergency. Will you connect me with his office, please?
Oh, dear, I'm going to get the rabies.
Hello?
Hello? Dr. Wells' office?
This is a call service. Dr. Wells is out at the moment, but if you'll give me your name and number, I'll try to locate him.
Well, this is Miss Van Gorder of the Oaks. My maid has just been bitten by a bat that may be rabid, and she must have treatment as soon as possible. And I was told that Dr. Wells was the nearest physician.
I'll try to find him for you, and if I can't, I'll send you another doctor.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Oh, he's out on a case.
Oh.
Oh, I hope it's not a delivery. A baby, I mean, they can be terribly complicated.
It never bothered me none.
Oh, Lizzie, you never had a baby.
Of course I didn't. That's why they never bothered me.
Oh, does it hurt, huh?
A little.
Dr. Wells? Are you there, Dr. Wells? Are you there, Dr. Wells? This is the operator. Your call service is on the wire. It's an emergency.
This is Dr. Wells.
This is your call service, Doctor.
Oh, hello. I was just doing an experiment. I left the receiver off.
That's what I thought, but I kept trying. Miss Van Gorder at the Oaks called and said that her maid had been bitten by a bat, and she's afraid it might be rabid.
What? Oh, all right. Tell her I'll be right over there.
Who's there?
Dr. Wells.
Come in.
Good evening.
Oh, I'm so glad they found you, Doctor.
Well, I reached my office shortly after you called. How is your maid? Is she in any pain?
No, she doesn't seem to be.
Did the bat get away?
No, I believe it's still in my bedroom.
Oh, good. I'll want to examine it. There you go, Miss Allen. Now you feel better?
Doctor, have I got the rabies?
Well, I can tell you better after I've examined the bat's brain under a microscope.
That thing's got a brain?
Oh, you'd be surprised. Well, where is it?
I think the little darling is in that closet.
Oh. You know, it's a pity you leased this house, Miss Van Gorder.
Why a pity?
Well, my dear lady, I don't want to alarm you, but...
Oh, well, after tonight, nothing can alarm me.
Yes, I understand. It must have been terrifying. So many unexplainable things have happened here. There's something about the place. Your servants must have sensed it when they walked out on you. An apprehension of disaster. Well, let's see. Aha! Yes. There he is. All right, now, take it easy. Nobody's going to hurt you. Quiet now. Quiet. He looks quite normal. Doesn't seem to be sick at all.
Oh, ain't that nice? I've been worried about him.
Well, you should be. From his appearance, I'd say that he doesn't have any infection. In which case, you've had a narrow escape. Now, you take one of those tablets I left for you, and I'll guarantee you a good night. And I'll drop in on you tomorrow.
Oh, thanks for everything, Doctor.
Now, don't worry, I can find my way out.
Oh, I know you can, but do let me help you.
Oh, don't forget that once I'm gone, you'll have to climb those stairs alone.
Oh, I'm all right. I'm armed now.
Can you shoot one of those things without shutting your eyes?
Oh, Doctor, there are guns in every book I've ever written. I don't write about things I'm unfamiliar with. Lock the door, Lizzie.
Good night.
Yes, ma'am. Good night, Doctor.
Accident?
No, the wind blew him down.
Oh.
I think.
Oh. Did you know that young Mark Fleming leased you this house without notifying his uncle?
No, I didn't.
Well, it doesn't matter now. John Fleming is dead and Mark's his heir. But if John were alive, he would warn you to leave here, Miss Van Gorder.
Really?
Yes. It's been a tragic place for anyone who ever lived in it. Well, good night.
Good night, Doctor.
Who's out there?
Nobody you need worry about, Doctor.
Oh, it's Andy.
That's right. Oh, good evening, Miss Van Gorder.
Good evening, Lieutenant.
Somebody sick here?
My maid was bitten by a bat.
Oh? A rabid bat?
Well, I'll know for sure when I get to my lab. I caught the bat.
It happened indoors?
In my bedroom.
How'd it get in?
Well, there are many ways a bat could get in a house.
You ought to know. I spotted this hole in the window the minute I got here.
Why?
That's where the two-legged bat got your door open.
Miss Van Gorder told me that she phoned headquarters at Zenith.
Yes, I phoned twice. The second time was after the prowler got in the house.
Weren't headquarters, Andy?
No, but they contacted me.
An officer came and searched the house from top to bottom, but they couldn't find the bat.
You better have this window fixed tomorrow.
Oh, yes, I certainly shall.
Yes, and I'd better be going. I'm due in surgery at 8 o'clock in the morning. Good night.
Good night, Doctor.
There'll be a man patrolling the grounds all night, Miss Van Gorder.
Oh, thank you.
And nobody inside, Andy?
Why should there be?
Well, how do you know but what the bat is hiding somewhere in the house?
I'm quite sure he isn't in the house, Doctor. Not now. Good night.
Good night.
And this is the Borgo Pass Report. Our top story tonight. Oh, wow! It looks like we got breaking news. For more on this, we go to our Countess Carita. Babycita?
Thanks, Drac.
Sure.
I'm hungry.
Huh?
I'm hungry.
Carita, is that really breaking news?
No, but you know how you are. When you're on task, you're laser focused. And the only way to get your attention is to ring the bell.
Silly me, being laser focused on the news when I'm delivering the news.
Well, I'm hungry.
Well, you know what? After we're done with the news, we'll get you a bite.
Oh, bite. I love it when you talk naughty.
Our top story tonight with, whoa, we got breaking newses?
We do.
Okay. Whoa! Looks like we got breaking newses. For more on this, we go to our Countess Carita. Carita Sita?
Thanks, Drac.
Sure.
We have breaking news from the entertainment world. For more on that, let's go to the Seward Sanitarium.
Whoa. We got breaking news from the entertainment world coming from Renfield?
No, it's from another patient there. Are you there, Elton?
Elton?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I'm here, Carita.
How are you, Elton?
I'm doing better, Carita. I've had a few rough years.
Was that caused by the plague and lockdown?
Worse, I've been stalked by a creep in a black cape named Drac.
Really?
He was relentless. I had to get a restraining order, and it finally got so bad. I came here to Seward Sanitarium to get rehabilitation and just to calm my nerves.
But you're feeling better now?
I am, but it was touch and go for a while. After I've been here for a few months, I started hearing some weird music.
Weird music?
Kazoo music.
Really?
Yes, really. At first, I thought it was that filthy leech, Drac, and he had followed me and crept into the sanitarium here under the cloak of night just to torture me.
Oh, well, he is good for that.
I know it, sister. Anyway, the funny thing is that as the nights went on, I began to like that eerie kazoo music.
You did?
Yes, I began to find it hauntingly beautiful. So I was, as I went down the hall to find out where the music was coming from, and I'm happy to say that when I resume my farewell tour, I'm going to be adding a kazoo player to my band.
Ah! Playing kazoo with Elton is all I've ever wanted.
Introduce yourself to the folks.
Hi.
Oh.
I'm Renfield, and I'm happy to announce that I'm going to be going out on tour with Elton.
Renfield?
Renfield, I didn't know you knew how to play kazoo.
I've been taking a correspondence course from my master Drac.
Oh, the irony.
The thing about playing the kazoo is that it's addictive. I practiced around the clock. The only time I wasn't practicing the kazoo was when I was being shaved in preparation for my daily enema.
So, the only time you weren't playing kazoo is when you were getting shaved or getting your enema?
Well, no. I played while I was getting my enema. For some reason, playing while I was getting an enema gave me a richer, deeper tone.
Really?
It's true. I'm a witness. It was so beautiful. I never missed one of Renfield's enemas. I was always there at enema time.
Really?
Really, it was uncanny. It did. And we planned to duplicate it on stage.
You're going to give Renfield enemas on stage?
I am. In fact, I'll be giving him the enema myself. I'm really looking forward to it.
Of course you are.
Imagine the thrill of playing the kazoo to a packed crowd and getting an enema at the same time.
We may even shave Renfield on stage too, and we could sell locks of his hair after the show with the t-shirts.
Well, I have to go. It's time for my enema.
Oh, then I have to go too. Thanks for letting me make my big announcement, Carita. Bye.
Goodbye, Elton. Well, that's our news from the entertainment world. Back to you, Drac.
Renfield?
Renfield.
Oh, Renfield is going out on tour with Elton?
It looks that way.
That's it. I'm done. I'm done. You hear me? Just done, I say.
Well, if it had been you, you would have had to have gotten an enema every single night in front of 80,000 people, Deadest.
Well, I would have done that.
You would?
Sure. I mean, you know, getting an enema in front of one person, 80,000? What's the difference, you know? I'm Drac. That's all the time we have for this time. We'll see you next time on the Borgo Pass Report. I'd even let him shave me.
Okay.
I would. Deep shave. Yeah. In front of 80,000 people. I would do that to play with Elton.
And now, here's an editorial comment from the Borgo Pass news director, Groucho.
Groucho here, the Borgo Pass news director, with what would normally be an editorial comment. But we're going to do something a little different this evening. In honor of our good friend, Mr. Renfield, getting the gig of a lifetime, going out on the road with Elton, we're going to dedicate the few minutes we have together to culture and the arts. It'll be kind of like educational television, the kind of thing you would see on PBS. Because you know, once he goes out on the road with Elton, Mr. Renfield is going to be one of the most famous kazoo players that ever lived. But he won't be the most famous. No, that honor belongs to Jean de Kazoo, or in English, Johnny Kazoo. He was the toast of Europe in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s. And here this evening, we're going to share with you one of Jean de Kazoo, or Johnny Kazoo's, best performances. This was at a Command Variety performance for the newly coronated Queen Elizabeth in 1954. So here it is, from the archives of the BBC, Jean, or Johnny, de Kazoo. Reginald Van Droll here. Thank you for joining us tonight on the BBC for the Royal Variety performance. It's been a smashing good performance so far, with a Shakespearean recitation by Laurence Olivier and a rousing rendition of that anthem We'll Meet Again by Vera Lynn. And now, by command of the Queen, we have the headliner for tonight's performance, Jean de Kazoo, or in English, Johnny Kazoo. And here comes Johnny now. He's taking the stage. Yes, he's dropped his trousers. Jean de Kazoo has cleared his instrument, and yes, he's getting ready to insert the kazoo. Oh, you know, I have seen Jean de Kazoo perform hundreds of times, and every time I see him do that, I think that has to hurt. Now Jean de Kazoo warms up. Oh, seems like he's found his range. He's in good shape now to begin his performance. So now here is Jean de Kazoo with his beautiful rendition of the Blue Danube. Oh, just jolly good show. Capping it off in style, Jean de Kazoo. Oh, and look, here she is, Queen Elizabeth II. Your Majesty.
Yes?
Oh, it was a rousing program tonight, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, Reginald. I really enjoyed it. I loved Laurence Olivier doing that recitation from Henry V. And Vera Lynn was wonderful. And oh, how magnificent Jean de Kazoo was. I think I will have him at every command variety performance. He was wonderful.
Well, thank you, Your Majesty, for taking the time to speak with us.
You're welcome. Good night, my royal subjects.
Well, there you have it, from the BBC archives. Jean de Kazoo playing Blue Danube at the Command Variety Performance in 1954 before Queen Elizabeth II. Well, a lot of people think he was just wonderful. But I'm going to be honest with you. I think Jean de Kazoo's act stunk. I'm Groucho, the Borgo Pass News Director, and this has been your cultural message for the evening. So long!
This has been an editorial comment from the Borgo Pass News Director, Groucho.
Hi, Andy. Hello, Mark. Well, congratulations. Real estate business must be picking up. New office, new furniture.
New deal. How do you like it?
Looks expensive. Are you squandering your inheritance?
Oh, I haven't got it yet.
Well, the paper says John Fleming left his entire fortune to you.
Funny thing about that entire fortune is that we can't find it.
No kidding.
Oh, all Uncle John had in his bank account was a couple of $100. And his safe deposit box was empty.
If we don't find that missing million, mine will be empty, too.
How come?
Well, all my savings were invested in Zenith Bank stock. The examiners won't certify the bank as solvent until those stolen securities are found. So the stockholders have voted an assessment that will wipe some of us out. It's a since those securities have been converted into cash. And if I can't find that cash, I'm sunk.
Well, where are you going to look for it, Andy?
Here in Zenith. Your uncle wouldn't take $1 million on a hunting trip, would he?
You suspect Uncle John? Why, Andy, he founded the Zenith Bank. That'd be like robbing the family tomb.
You think he wouldn't?
Well, besides, Vic Bailey's fingerprints are all over the vault. Now, they didn't find any of Uncle John's fingerprints.
Because he wiped them off.
Can the defense prove that?
They'll try to. Judy Hollander, Bailey's secretary, is a defense witness. And they believe her testimony will have a powerful effect on the jury.
Oh, well, she has a powerful effect on me. Judy's a doll.
Here's the book you mentioned, Judy.
Your newest one.
Yes, it's just been published. You can have that copy if you wish.
Oh, it's a first edition and you've signed it.
Yes, of course.
Thank you so much.
May I serve tea now, Miss Van Gorder?
Yes, please do, Warner.
Thank you.
Well, I see you've engaged new servants.
Yes, of course.
Well, how did you persuade them to live in this house?
Well, Jane Patterson, my new housekeeper, knows this house better than you do, Doctor.
Oh?
She worked for John Fleming. And Warner was my chauffeur.
Chauffeur turned butler?
It's incredible. He can play any part at a moment's notice. Did you get a plumber, Warner?
No, we can't get a plumber for 3 days, madam.
What about that leaking pipe? The basement will be flooded in 3 days.
The pipe is no longer leaking.
You mean it's dried up of its own accord?
No, not quite. I packed the elbow where the water was coming out.
Packed the elbow? Well, where did you learn how to do that?
Well, into each life, a little rain must fall, and a careful man learns to keep himself dry. Now, is there anything else that you require, Miss Van Gorder?
No, not at the moment, Warner.
Thank you, madam.
Now, there's a character.
How long did you say that he worked for you as chauffeur?
About 3 months.
Well, I hope he doesn't have a police record. My dear Dale, it may interest you to know that the last night of his life, John Fleming told me that he loved your husband like a son. If Fleming were alive today, he would be fighting to prove Vic's innocence.
Could Mr. Fleming prove his own innocence?
Miss Van Gorder, can there be any doubt about it?
There will be when Miss Hollander testifies at Vic's trial.
Oh? You know something that we haven't heard yet, Judy?
Something I saw with my own eyes. She's not permitted to say what it was.
My dear girl, I wouldn't think of asking her. But let's assume for a moment that Fleming did steal the $1 million. Now, what would he do about it? Where is it?
Hidden someplace where he could lay his hands on it without getting caught in the act. Now, if I was writing this, instead of living in the middle of it, I'd hide it right here in this spooky old house.
Under a loose floorboard or up a chimney?
If Mr. Fleming had the nerve to steal $1 million, he'd make his plans well in advance. I'd say he'd prepare a place to hide it. Possibly when this house was being built. Now, I rented this place from Mark Fleming, his nephew. I wonder if he'd have the floor plans.
I'll ask him.
Yes. Lizzie, will you bring Mrs. Bailey the phone? Oh, you ask him now. Okay. His number is Summit 7537.
Oh, thank you, Lizzie. Summit
7537.
Not bad, eh, Andy? That means new business. Now, you see, somebody wants to buy a house. Mark Fleming speaking.
Oh, hello, Dale.
Well, hang on a minute, honey, while I see if I have him. It's Dale Bailey, all excited. Miss Van Gorder wants to know if I have the floor plans of the Oaks. Now, what would she want with the floor plans?
Well, she suggested to me that your uncle might have hidden the bank loot there. Are the plans here?
They're somewhere in the house itself. Wait a minute, there is a place where Uncle Johnny might have kept those blueprints.
What place?
Well, I heard him talk about it a good many years ago. I can't be sure of the exact location. Anyway, I don't think the old boy had the guts to steal $1 million. But if I find those plans, I'll let you know, Andy. Hello, Dale. Look, honey, I haven't seen those plans since I was a kid, but I'll come over tonight and maybe we can find them.
Thank you, Mark. We'll expect you. He seems to think they're here in the house somewhere. He's coming over tonight.
Well, that's good. Dale and Judy are my house guests for the weekend. Would you like to have dinner with us tonight?
Oh, no, thank you. I couldn't. I still have a few calls to make. You know, if Judy's testimony is going to clear Vic Bailey and implicate John Fleming, others may get the idea that there's buried treasure in this house. Don't even mention your testimony until you're actually on the stand.
Oh, I won't.
That's a smart girl, Judy, and a very lovely girl. Well, good afternoon, ladies.
Goodbye,
Doctor.
Dr. Will.
Come on, girls, let's go.
Besides, I should be putting them down on paper. Weren't you your husband's secretary, Dale?
Yes, I was.
Do you take shorthand? Well, my dear, if you'd like to have your mind occupied, I want you to work with me while I write the story of this fantastic criminal, the Bat.
Wonderful dinner.
Thank you.
It's really nice.
A good dinner, Lizzie, as usual.
Wonderful. Oh, what a lovely piece of silver. It's an original, isn't it?
Yes, they still use them in England for buffet breakfasts. Some hot water in the bottom. Keeps your kippers hot, your sausages, and your scrambled eggs. Interesting. It's very useful. Really nice. Clock hasn't struck the hour in the last 10 years, if I'm to believe what Mark Fleming told me.
Why is it angled away from the wall like that?
I don't know. Somebody must have moved it. Lizzie, very likely when she was dusting.
Wait a minute. Did you know there's a door in this paneling?
No, I didn't.
Oh, my gracious, so there is.
Maybe it opens to a secret passage.
Oh,
Well, certainly to a secret something.
This is exciting.
Who knows, girls? Be about to stumble on that missing million. Oh, this is...
Oh.
There's a panel. There must be some gimmick to it. There always is. Yes, it moves. It moves. It moves.
Calling car 11. Calling car 11. Proceed to the Oaks in Zenith Township immediately. A homicide has been reported.
Okay. Proceeding to the Oaks. Notify the county coroner, Dr. Wells. Tell him to come to the Oaks at once.
Horrible. As if his throat had been torn by some creature with fangs or claws.
That's his sign. We found it on the others he killed. I'd hoped those reports that he was up to his old tricks again were pure imagination, but apparently they're based on fact. He's come back. Back to the scene of his kills. Yes, that's who I mean. That's who did this. The Bat. Who found Mark?
We all did. That is Dale and Judy and I. Lizzie was in the dining room. This is my new housekeeper, Jane Patterson. You know, she worked for John Fleming.
I know her. Where were you, Mrs. Patterson?
In the kitchen, cleaning up. I cooked the dinner tonight.
Did you know that the secret closet was here?
No. It was behind the grandfather's clock.
Well, it was I who found it, really. Noticed the clock had been moved and the door wasn't quite closed.
I'll get it.
Who is it? Mark Fleming.
As coroner, you saw the same wounds on the others. How long's he been dead?
Oh, I'd say about a half an hour. Do you believe it was the Bat?
That's the Bat's trademark.
Perhaps he's still in the house.
That's possible.
Why should he be?
Because he's looking for something, and like you, he believes it's here. And he's a persistent killer. I would advise you to get out of this house as quickly as possible, notwithstanding our expert police protection. Have you called the morgue?
They're on their way here.
Oh, good. I want to examine the body before they get here. May we take it into another room?
Yes, to the sunroom in the back.
Thank you. Give me a hand.
Excuse me. Oh, Warner, where have you been?
Well, madam, has been an accident?
There's been a murder. Mark Fleming, the young man from whom I leased this place, was killed here tonight.
They know who did it?
Well, they believe it was the bat.
I'm sorry I had to use the front door, Miss Van Gorder, but I forgot my keys, and when I rang the bell at the kitchen door, there was no response.
Oh, this is Warner, Lieutenant. He's my butler. He was my chauffeur.
Why did you promote him?
But it's very difficult to find a butler. They don't like service in the country.
Have you been a butler before?
I've served in many capacities, sir, but this was my night off, and I forgot my keys.
I heard that part. What time did you leave the house tonight?
Oh, about 6:30. I had dinner at Wiley's Roadhouse.
Can you prove where you spent the rest of the evening?
I can try.
Try hard. And don't leave the house. I'll get to you later.
Very good, sir. I shall be in my room, Miss Van Gorder, if you need me.
Yes, Warner. Surely you don't think he's...
Warren and I have met before. I can't recall where or when, but I will. There'll be a crew here shortly from headquarters, dusting for fingerprints, taking photographs. But in the meantime, Mrs. Patterson, you aren't leaving the house tonight, are you?
No, Lieutenant.
Don't. I'll talk to you in the morning. Good night.
Good night, sir. Good night, Miss Van Gorder.
Dale, I was with Mark Fleming this afternoon when you talked to him about the floor plans of this house. I heard him tell you he was coming here tonight.
Dale called him at my request. She told me he was coming.
Who else should I tell you that?
Judy, Lizzie.
And that nice Dr. Wells.
Dr. Wells. There are a few killers who kill for the fun of it. The bat very likely is a mental case, and I'm convinced that his crimes are motivated by his mania for personal gain. There's $1 million at large, and he's going to keep on hunting for it until he lays his hands on it. Now, these young ladies are staying here tonight?
Yes, they're my house guests.
Well, when my crew arrives, we'll be busy for a while, so I'd suggest that
That we go to our rooms? That's a very good idea. Come on, girls. What about a police guard for this house tonight, Lieutenant?
You've got one. I'm going to cover this place tonight from the attic to the basement. If the bat makes another call, I'll have a little surprise for him.
Who is he? Have you any idea?
He could be anybody. So far, there are clues to his identity, but nothing we could take before a jury. I'm afraid we must look higher than the criminal world. He may be a merchant, lawyer, doctor, scientist, one of the pillars of his community. Ladies, lock your doors tonight. Stay behind them. I promise you you'll be safe. Good night.
Good night, Lieutenant.
Good night.
I know what you're thinking. Why are his glasses like this? Well, how else am I going to see the movie right side up? Say hello to my little friend. He thinks he's a parrot. He keeps wanting to sit on my shoulder and nuzzle my neck. I wonder how much longer the movie is. I used the bathroom before I started watching it. I hope it's not too much longer.
And now it's time for Letters to Drac, where you, the home viewer, writes letters to me, Count Dracula, King of the Vampires, 2019 Horror Host Hall of Fame inductee, and I answer those letters for you right here on the show. So, do we have a letter this evening, Carita?
We do.
Ah, good. Well, let's get to it.
Okay, tonight's letter reads, Dear Drac,
Mm-hmm.
I've been watching your show and have seen your Dracercise segments. Does Dracercising really work? Your pal, Bruce Cook, Arkansas, USA.
Well, you know, Bruce, I'm glad you asked that. For those of you who aren't aware, you know, let's take a look at one of the Dracercise segments. Bob, cut that in right here. All right, all you turkey-holics, it's that time again. Up on your feet and let's Dracercise. Okay, so you see, that's what Dracercise is all about. You know, you get some exercise, get fit, it's a cardio, and not only does Dracercise work, but you know, a lot of guys, they do those workouts, you know, and they get those ugly six-pack abs, you know, where it looks like somebody's like cut into their stomach all over. With Dracercise, you never have to worry about that because you just get one really big ab right there. You know, no cuts in it or nothing, just like feel how, yeah. Is that an ab or is that an ab?
It is.
One strong ab. So Bruce, I'm glad you asked, and we're going to have Dracercise tapes available for you real soon. So stay tuned, and I promise they're going to be cheap, and we will mail them out to Arkansas, USA. Okay? So that's it for this time. We'll see you next time on Letters to Drac. And until then, keep those cards and letters coming.
It's a pity. So young. Well, Doctor, do you agree it was the bat?
In my report, I shall say the death was caused by the same technique used in the other killings. A paralyzing blow to the throat, followed by severe lacerations of the jugular, resulting in excessive hemorrhage.
In a layman's language, he didn't know what hit him.
Oh, he knew. But he didn't have time to think about it. You staying here tonight, Andy?
Well, until I check the doors and windows, but I'll be back bright and early in the morning.
Neither snow, nor rain, nor heat, nor gloom of night stays these couriers from the swift completion of their appointed rounds.
A lot of people are due for a shock when I close this case.
Yes, I'm sure they are. Good night, Andy. Don't get hurt.
Good night, Doctor.
You know, I think we'd better let you get some sleep.
Oh, Lizzie and I share this room for mutual protection. You know, one night, a storm blew the wires down, put the lights out, and I went out the next day and bought a half a dozen of these things. You better take one with you, Dale.
Oh, thank you.
We'll go across the hall now.
Are you sure there's nothing else you need?
Oh, no.
Quite sure. We'll be all right.
Well, if anything bothers you, you just sing out, and 2 strong women will come to your rescue.
Oh, nothing will bother us. Not with Andy on the job.
No. Well, good night.
Good night, Miss Van Gordon. See you in the
Don't worry, everything will be all
No,
right.
we won't. Good night.
Good night.
I don't think I'll sleep tonight.
Me neither.
All I can see is poor Mark Fleming staring at us. I thought that when people died, their eyes closed, as in sleep.
Don't think about it.
I'll bet you're thinking about it.
No, I was thinking of my poor husband sleeping in jail tonight. Oh, Judy, I love him so much.
What's that noise?
Oh, I don't know. I kind of fell half asleep. For a moment, I thought it was something from a dream.
It's somewhere in the house.
Yes, on the floor above. Not directly over us. Probably a room overlooking the driveway.
Should we call Miss Van Gorder?
She'll hear it. How can she help but hear it? Oh, besides, we don't want her to think we're a couple of hysterical women.
Oh, I'm about to become one.
dear.
I've had it for one night. Dale, you're not going out in that hall.
I want to know what's happening up there.
But Lieutenant Anderson said if we stayed behind our locked doors, we'd be safe.
Vic isn't safe locked up in that jail. Suppose that stolen money is in this house. Mark Fleming seemed to think it was. Maybe that's what somebody's looking for.
Oh, for heaven's sake, don't you hear that awful noise up there? Now, Lizzie, you've just got to stay awake. The house phone and the outside phone wires have been cut, and we can't get help.
Where's that policeman?
Oh, I don't know. Something must have happened to him. Now, go on, get on your robe.
Oh, Dale, please don't go up there. I've got to. Think what it could mean to Vic. Now, you stay here.
Oh, no. If you go, I go.
Let you go up there alone. You wait here. I'm going to see what it is.
Oh, please let me go with you,
Judy,
Dale.
will you warn me if anyone comes? Now, only be a moment. Now, wait.
Give her to me. I'll look after her.
Oh, Dale.
Poor baby.
Judy. The bat.
Yes, the bat. He caught her at the head of the stairs. We saw him rushing down the stairs as we came out of the room. I hurled that after him. I hit him, I believe. I'm going to cover this place from attic to basement, you said. Well, what were you covering when that poor child was murdered? Where were you?
I saw a man outside in the grounds. I went out there and hunted him. I heard him in among the trees, and so I followed the sound of him as far as the brook down near the back road. And then I lost him. I'd rather give my own life than have this happen to Judy. But I told you to stay in your rooms and lock your doors and stay there. What was she doing at the head of those stairs?
That was my fault.
They heard a strange noise. Heavy pounding in one of the rooms on the 3rd floor. We all heard it.
I wanted to see what it was. Judy, she wouldn't let me go out by myself. I made her stay on the balcony.
What about your new butler?
Oh, well, he's in his room, I suppose.
Oh, Mrs. Patterson.
Oh, yes.
Did you know what happened to you?
No, sir, but I heard the screams. I went to call Warner. We have rooms on the same floor, but he wasn't in his room. His bed hasn't been slept in.
If Mrs. Patterson heard the screams, Warner could certainly hear them.
You're quite right, sir. I heard them.
Oh, you did? And where were you?
Outside in the grounds.
Miss Holland has been murdered.
No.
Oh, so you're surprised. Shocked. Well, I've seen better performances. I remember you now. Your name's not Warner. I've got a circular in my office with your picture on it. The Chicago police not so long ago were hunting for you in connection with the robbery.
You're right again, sir. And they found me and they tried me and I proved my innocence and I was acquitted.
That could have been a lucky break. Where were you when this child was killed?
I told you before, sir. Outside.
What were you doing there?
I was following you. I saw you leaving the house and it seemed that you were hunting someone. I thought you might need some help. Oh, yes, sir. I followed your flashlight down through the trees. Then it disappeared. And then suddenly, as I was staring out into the darkness, I was struck by something on the back of the head. The next thing I knew, I was lying on the ground. I realized I'd been knocked out.
I wish you had been knocked out. But then we'd have found you with your mask still on your face. You were hit here in this house with this poker as you were rushing down those stairs after that child was killed.
Oh, no, sir. You can't pin this on me. I'm not the bat. I've never killed. I couldn't kill. I won't take the rap for this.
Doctor, we have another case for the county coroner. You see, the bat came back. Why did you come back, Doctor?
Well, I had an accident about a mile down the road. The right rear wheel of my car came off and I plunged into the ditch. This was the nearest house, so I came here to call for help. I thought I'd find you around, Andy.
Physician, heal thyself. You must have been hit by something on the back of your head.
I told you I had an accident.
So you did, Doctor. So you did. I could be wrong. But maybe I'm not. We shall see.
Hey, everybody. Ready for a good time? Welcome to Igor Comedy Cavern. Knock, knock. Oh, forget it. You know who I am. Oh, and you know Fred. You know, Fred is comedy sidekick for Igor. When I ask him stand there, I expect so much for him. To be like Ed McMahon. You know. Like, hey Igor. Here's Igor. Hi-yo! But he just stand there, not do anything. But Fred can't help it. Because Fred's sick. Fred broken. Just like Igor. You know, Igor have broken neck, tear in eye, and broken heart. Let me tell you this story. I'm broken hearted because, you know my regret. She left me. She pick up, say, goodbye, Igor. You know, I had idea something was up. When Egret first come to live with me, every morning when I come home from long night of stealing bodies, they say, both dog and Egret meet me at cave door. Dog shaking tail. Egret shaking tail. But recently, I come home in morning after a long night of stealing bodies. they say. Dog come, meet me at door. He's shaking tail. Regret? Not so much. So I know something wrong. So I ask her, I say, regret. Something wrong? Have you met someone else? And to her credit, regret say, yes, Igor, there is someone else. Well, turns out was hog farmer several miles away, which cannot blame regret. Because she tell me, she say, Igor, how can I turn down offering of hog farmer? Because if I'm with him, I get all of the hams, pork chops, and bacon I can eat. But you know, it would be very hard for regret to turn down. Plus, you know, on hot days in summertime, on a hog farm, she could take off all her clothes and jump in the pig pen and roll around in the mud and, you know, with the pigs to cool off. Grant used to do that here, too, in farms right around the cave. But those farms, they're close to a road. Hog farmer farm, back way in the woods. When the Gret would roll around in mud, here, I can't tell you how many times there was a knock at the door. I open and they're police. Here she is again, Igor. Here she is again. Hose her down and put her away. So anyway, Igor leaves me. I'm broken-hearted. So Igor go out to drown his sorrow. He go to tavern. And wouldn't you know, at tavern, I bump into Matthew McConaughey. And he say to me, all right, let's get a drink. So I join him. And one drink turned into two drink, turned into three. Matthew McConaughey, he started buying drink for girls at bar. They come over, sit with us. But they were puny things. They had small waist, big bosoms, all wasted. Because you know what Igor like. Oh, like a Gret. Oh, but then I try to forget her again. Have a few more drinks. Matthew McConaughey say to me, do the dance. And I say, friend Matthew, what dance you talk about? He say, dance from Magic Mike. So, I say, okay, I get up. I get on table, and I start doing dance from Magic Mike. I go, oh, look, here's the Magic Mike cowboy. Oh, and you go dancing and dancing, and everybody applauding. Some actually throwing me money. I'm doing so good. Oh, yeah. I get down from table. Sit down at my chair. Oh, I'm so out of breath. Matthew McConaughey get another round of drinks for table. He say, you know, that was even better than you did in movie. And Igor say, huh? And he say, I say, that even better than you do in movie. And I think, and it hits me. He not know Igor. Friend Matthew think I'm Channing Tatum. So, I tell him, and then I get kicked out of tavern. They say I'm impersonating movie star. But you know, happened to Igor all time. I always get mistaken for Channing Tatum. Especially when I take off my shirt. So anyway, thanks for dropping in and letting me bare my soul to you. And later on, you will see the Magic Mike thing. I bare everything else. Say good night, friend. Good night, everybody. Thanks for coming to Igor Comedy Cavern. Oh, I feel so much better now.
All right, Dale, let's start a new chapter. For days, the murders held the headlines. Lieutenant Anderson grilled us and ransacked the house from top to bottom. Warner was not placed under arrest, but his every move was watched. At night, except for a detective on guard in the house, the police and the reporters left us alone. And on one of those nights, without telling Lizzie or anyone else, I pursued a secret investigation of my own. It was in an empty room on the 3rd floor where we kept our trunks and other things.
Put him up, Pat. It's a bright idea to kill me in my own lab and let people think that I'm the bat. But you had to kill me first. What was it to be, ambush? And clever as you are, you're not smart enough to do that. Nor were you smart enough to find the money, though you came quite close to it. But I know where it is. And when you're dead with that sign pinned on your chest, I'm going to collect it and live happily ever after. He destroyed himself. How true that will be. Well, goodbye, Bat. Here's a serum that will heal you whether you're rabid or not.
Something's wrong. Something's wrong. Miss Cornelia! Miss Cornelia! Now, where would she be going at this time of night? Land's sake. I never. Oh. Mr. Davenport. Mr. Davenport. Oh, a fine thing. The door unbolted, the chain off, and you asleep on the job. Wait till Lieutenant Anderson hears about this. Come on, wake up. What's the matter with you?
I don't know. My head hurts. My whole body's numb.
Here, take a sip of this. Try to snap out of it. I'll be back in a minute. Hurry, will you? It's Lizzie. I'm terribly worried. I can't find Miss Cornelia anywhere, and something's happened to the policeman. I don't know what. Get Warner. Bring him to the drawing room. Tell him we need him. Are you all right now?
Yeah, I'll be all right in a minute. I remember now. I took a drink of wine from that decanter there. Miss Van Gorder told me to help myself.
She wouldn't put nothing in it?
Well, somebody did. Somebody who knew I was on duty here.
Then it was somebody that got Miss Van Gorder. I can't find her anywhere. Upstairs, downstairs, or in the basement. I told the housekeeper to get Warner.
Lieutenant Anderson will want to know about this. Hello. Yeah, this is Davenport at the Oaks. We've got trouble here. Well, for one thing, I was drugged. Yeah. But I must have been knocked out because the maid tells me Miss Van Gorder's missing. Well, you better call Anderson and let him know. He's not at home. Well, where is he? Out on a case? What case? Dr. Wells. What else did they tell you about it?
Oh, hurry, will you? We've got to find Miss Cornelia.
Okay. Lieutenant Anderson is out on a case. Dr. Wells was found dead in a room next to his garage, murdered.
Dr. Wells?
There's something queer about the killing of Wells, but headquarters won't talk about it.
Lizzie, Warner isn't in his room. There's no sign of him anywhere.
And I was supposed to keep an eye on that guy.
Where's Miss Cornelia? That's what I want to know.
Wait a minute. Didn't you say that the chain and the bolt were off of the front door?
I certainly did.
Well, maybe Miss Van Gorder went outside.
Oh, she never would. We better look.
I can't breathe. There's no air.
Miss Cornelia.
Oh, Miss Van
Miss
Gorder.
Cornelia. Miss Cornelia.
Miss Van Gorder.
Look. There's a light in that room on the 3rd floor. Were you up there tonight?
Well, of course I was, but I turned the lights out before I came downstairs.
Then Miss Cornelia might have turned them on again. That's where we're going to look first. Come on.
I'm here. Right here. Come to the mantelpiece.
Here we are, Miss Van Gorder. What do we do now?
Over the mantel, there are 5 panels. Strike it with your hand.
Which panel did you say, Miss Van Gorder?
Oh, understand.
Miss Van Gorder, which panel? We couldn't hear you.
She said strike it. What difference does it make which panel? Strike them all. Look.
Oh, it's all right now. It's all right, dear. Lizzie's here.
Feeling better?
Yes, much better.
We'll take you to your room.
Oh, no, you won't. I'm going to stay right here. I'm quite all right. Oh, how blessed it is to breathe without an effort. You know, no one knows how sweet the air can taste until someone shuts it off for a moment. That room is just like a box. When the mantelpiece closed, it seemed like all the air was drawn out of it. Look, there it goes again.
Let it close. I can open it from in here. There's a control panel behind this blueprint. Electric motor under the trap door here. Once the door is open, you can keep it that way. I believe that the fireplace in this other room opens the same way. And it does.
I tried to find this, but I couldn't find it.
Yeah, it's back of this blueprint here. Well, it's quite a setup. Too bad we can't open that safe in the same way. Take an expert to crack this box or a shot of nitro.
Oh, maybe that's what the bat had in mind.
Could be. Seems he's on the prowl tonight.
Miss Van Gorder, Warner has disappeared.
And Dr. Wells has been murdered.
Dr. Wells?
Lieutenant Anderson's on that case right now.
Well, does he know what happened here tonight?
They got word to him. He'll be here any minute.
What's that noise? Miss Van Gorder, the garage is on fire.
Scott, look at that.
Lizzie, put that light out in the other room. Now, where are you going?
To report the fire.
Well, you just stay right here.
But Miss Van Gorder, the garage.
Well, let it burn. You watch the stair. Can't you see that fire was set to get us out of the house?
Out of the house? Were you talking about the...
Yes, I'm talking about the bat. Now that the lights are out, he'll think his trick has worked, and we've gone. He'll be here any minute.
Well, so will Lieutenant Anderson.
I hope so, but the bat will be here first. And he'll kill again if we're in his way. We've got to be as clever as he is.
Thanks a lot for hanging out and watching the show with me. Uh-oh. I can't feel my toes anymore. I think they went to sleep. Help! Thanks for nothing. It's okay. I'm fine. I landed on my head.
But you'll be safer downstairs. I'll take care of you.
Well, the others can go, but I'm going to stay right here.
All right, but get out of sight. Let's face it, ladies, and get it over with.
Others have seen my face before they died, but I'll have to deny you that pleasure. This would make a good scene for your book, Miss Van Gorder, but I'm afraid you'll never write it.
That is Warner. I could tell.
You misjudged me, Miss Ellen.
Warner!
I don't like being a murder suspect, Miss Van Gorder. I was headed for a plane, but halfway to the airport, I changed my mind and came back. I'm glad that I did.
Why, it's Lieutenant Agnes.
Yes, it was Anderson. He'd discovered the secret of the hidden room and was waiting to get into it and open up the safe. We found the money in it, a little over $1 million in tens and twenties and hundreds. Good old Andy. With all his ill-gotten gains invested in bank stock. It's rather a clever way to hide stolen money. In the open, as it were, and so respectable. But don't try it. No matter how clever you are, you can't hide murder. Well, that's it, Dale. That's the end.
So, it was pretty obvious that Vincent Price was the serial killer known as the Bat, huh?
Well, I thought it was Vincent Price. I mean, you know, Vincent Price is always the killer in these movies. Like, even in The Fly, he smashed his own brother with a rock.
Well, in this movie, he was the red herring.
The red what?
Red herring.
Well, how could you tell? The movie was in black and white.
No! Red herring is a plot device used in mysteries. See, the story misdirects your attention so you think the killer is one person when it's actually another person.
Oh. Well, that's our show for tonight. We'll see you next time, and until then, remember, fly right!
Deadest,
What, honey, Bet?
I told you during the news I was hungry.
Yeah, I know. And you know, I'm kind of hungry, too. Shabbat!
Come on, let's fly into town and grab a bite to eat.
Sounds good to me. Drac!
So, what are you in the mood for, blonde or brunette?
How about something spicy like a redhead?
Oh, okay. Ooh, spicy. Hey, they hired a mariachi band down at the tavern. That'd be real spicy. Mexican food. Ha! Let's go!
Transylvania Tonight is a Fly Right production.
Dennis!
What?
I know where we're going to be August 12th and 13th.
Where?
At the Palace Theater in Canton, Ohio.
Why?
Because they're going to be showing a movie marathon of my favorite heartthrob.
Francis X. Bushman?
No.
Francis the Talking Mule?
No.
I'm just teasing you, honey bat, because I know all about it. August 12th and 13th at the Palace Theater in Canton, Ohio, it's going to be the Monster Bash Bela Lugosi Film Festival.
They're going to be showing Dracula and Shandu the Magician.
And Island of Lost Souls and Mark of the Vampire.
And Devil Bat and Night Monster.
And Return of the Vampire and Bride of the Monster.
And Saturday night they're going to be topping everything up with Johnny Depp and Martin Landau in Ed Wood.
Golly, it's going to be swell. Yeah. Oh, and you know what else? They're going to have that great author there, Frank Delestrito.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and both nights he's going to be talking about all things Bela.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see you. Come on, join Carita and I. Yeah, right. Go ahead, tell them.
August 12th and 13th at the Palace Theater in Canton, Ohio.
When?
August 12th and 13th
Where?
at the Palace Theater.
The Palace Theater?
In Canton, Ohio.
In Canton, Ohio for the Monster Bash Bela Lugosi Film Festival. We'll see you there. And until then, remember, fly right.